All right, get ready, because we are diving deep into Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And not just any deep dive, we're using fan rankings from the top10s.com.
Oh, interesting.
You want to understand what makes a Marvel movie great? We've got passionate fans who have ranked their favorites.
So we've got like a roadmap straight from the fans themselves, huh?
It's like a treasure map, leading us to the heart of what makes these films tick.
And I bet it reveals a lot about what resonates with audiences, you know?
Oh, absolutely. What hookers them? What keeps them coming back for more?
Right. It's more than just this one's popular. It's a peek into how superhero stories have evolved.
That's what we're going to unpack right here.
Now that-
The top 10s, by the way, they let users rank just about everything you can imagine, and we're focusing on their picks for best Marvel superhero movies.
All right, so we're talking the whole shebang, the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe,
We'll explore the top 10 for sure,
of course.
but also some intriguing honorable mentions.
Yeah, to see those.
And maybe even a few choices that'll raise an eyebrow or two.
Oh, the controversial ones.
Exactly. Think of this as a journey through the heart of the MCU,
I'm buckled up.
where we'll uncover what really makes these movies connect with the audience.
But I'm ready to analyze.
Yeah.
We can dissect their narrative structures,
Oh, yeah.
the character arcs, even the filmmaking techniques that contribute to their success.
All right, let's start with the champs, the movies that consistently top these fan lists. We're talking,
The big guns.
the top 10s users have crowned the Avengers,
Classic.
Iron Man,
Another good one.
and Captain America, the Winter Soldier, as their top 3.
Solid picks, gotta say.
Each film, it seems to represent a different side of the Marvel formula,
Oh, for sure.
capturing those distinct elements that just, boom, resonate.
You've got it.
Mm.
The Avengers, ultimate superhero team up, bringing those iconic characters together,
Yeah.
and it's just a spectacle, action, and camaraderie.
Oh, yeah.
Iron Man, though, gives us that origin story. We see Tony Stark transform from flawed genius into the hero, willing to sacrifice it all.
Right, and then Winter Soldier
Winter Soldier.
injects a dose of realism, a little political intrigue into the MCU.
It proves, doesn't it, that superhero stories can tackle these complex themes
Oh, absolutely.
without sacrificing the fun.
And one user, they described the Avengers perfectly.
Oh, how did they put it?
They said the film, it cleverly used the previous solo movies, to set up each character's backstory. So then it could focus on that team dynamic
Right.
and the gravity of the threat they're facing.
Wrong at building interconnected storytelling, Marvel's specialty.
They've mastered it. It's like an art form.
But Iron Man, it's different. It succeeded by going deep into the complexities of its main character.
Yeah, Tony Stark.
One fan, they pointed out how the movie explores his evolution. It's not just surface level, the charm.
Right, there's more to him.
He's wrestling with his past,
Oh,
confronting the consequences of his actions.
makes him human.
Exa-
And Winter Soldier, it took a different route.
oh, yeah.
Grounded that superhero narrative in a world that felt like chillingly familiar. It wasn't just about the flashy powers, it was espionage, betrayal, the struggle against a system that's corrupt from within.
High stakes.
And one user, they raved about the combat, how realistic it was, the gritty hand-to-hand fights.
Not just the big CGI battles.
It felt different, more intense.
And the filmmakers, they did that on purpose, emphasizing those practical effects and the stunt work.
So it felt visceral.
Yeah, that intensity resonated with audiences.
Winter Soldier, it proved you could blend that superhero action with the suspense of, like, a political thriller.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Oh, definitely. No, this is where nostalgia comes in.
All right, I love a good dose of nostalgia.
Spider-Man 2 from 2004
Oh, the classics.
swung into the 4th spot,
Wow, 4th place.
proving that some films just transcend time.
They really do.
Some fans even argue this one surpasses the newer Spider-Man films. It speaks to that enduring power, doesn't it?
Spider-Man 2 set the bar, I think, for character development
It did.
and emotional depth,
Yeah.
in superhero cinema.
You're right.
It wasn't just about stopping the bad guy.
There's more.
Peter Parker's internal struggles, his sacrifices, the burden of responsibility.
That's what makes him relatable.
Exactly.
It's a testament to the film's ability to connect with audiences on a human level.
No matter when they watch it.
Yeah, and speaking of films that leave a lasting impact,
Right, let's hear it.
blast off into the cosmos with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Love those guys.
Both the original and its sequel landed high on the list,
They're just so much fun.
captivating viewers with their unique blend of humor,
Yeah.
heart,
Oh, tons of heart.
and just memorable characters.
Every one of them.
Guardians of the Galaxy, they injected a much-needed dose of irreverent humor, a little cosmic weirdness.
The MCU needed that.
Those characters, right?
Oh, tell me about it.
A ragtag bunch of misfits.
But so relatable.
Even though they're from outer space,
Right.
and the films, they balance that hilarious banter
Oh, the banter's the best.
with dazzling visuals.
And some surprisingly poignant moments.
Yeah, they sneak up on you, forging that connection with audiences who craved something a little different.
I think we all did.
And here's the thing. Some fans believe the sequel
The sequel.
surpasses the original.
Oh, wow. Bold statement.
One user, they praised the sequel for having even deeper emotional resonance.
So they built on that foundation from the first one.
Exactly. Took the characters to new heights.
Raises the question, can a sequel actually be better?
Or is it just, riding on that love and familiarity from the first film?
It's a debate as old as time.
Yeah, some sequels, they manage to expand upon the original story.
They go deeper, explore new territory.
Others, well, they might falter, rely too heavily on nostalgia, or just can't capture that same magic.
Right, but Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 seems to have struck a chord with a lot of viewers.
It suggests sequels can, in some cases, elevate the franchise.
Deliver an even more satisfying experience.
Now, buckle up, because we're arriving at a film that ignited some serious reactions.
Oh,
Divided audiences. We're talking Captain America, Civil War.
Oh, this one's a heavy hitter.
This movie dared to challenge the very foundation of the Avengers.
Wow.
It forced viewers to confront complex questions about power
About responsibility.
and the consequences of unchecked authority.
Kind of like Batman v Superman did.
Exactly. Polarized audiences, Civil War ignited these passionate debates.
Forcing fans to question their allegiances.
To grapple with those moral gray areas of heroism.
What sets Civil War apart is its willingness to deconstruct the superhero mythos.
Right, exploring those ramifications of power.
When good intentions can lead to disaster.
There were no easy answers in that film.
It made you confront your own beliefs about justice, accountability.
One user described their experience as a whirlwind of emotions. It wasn't about who was right or wrong. It was about those agonizing choices the characters had to make.
The devastating consequences.
Civil War, it really pushed those boundaries of superhero storytelling,
Showing that these films can tackle complex themes.
leaving you with those profound questions long after the credits roll.
It engaged viewers on an intellectual and emotional level,
Oh, for sure.
making them think about those ethical dilemmas.
And now we turn to the epic culmination of the Infinity Saga.
This is big.
Avengers, Infinity War, and Avengers, Endgame.
Two halves of the same story.
They represent a monumental achievement in cinematic storytelling, weaving together years of character development, intricate plot lines,
Those breathtaking action sequences.
into a grand finale that just captivated audiences.
The world was watching.
They attempted to deliver on those immense expectations built up over a decade,
A decade of interconnected films.
offering both heartbreaking moments
Oh, yeah.
and a sense of closure to a saga that had become a global phenomenon.
Phenomenon is right.
What's remarkable about them is their ambition, the sheer scale of it.
They wanted to tell a story of epic proportions.
Stakes felt world-altering,
Literally.
and they managed to balance the personal journeys of all these characters with that overarching threat. Thanos, right? Creating a narrative that was both, intimate.
But also cosmic in scope.
One fan, they pointed out how Infinity War,
Oh, yeah.
it subverted expectations.
How so?
They refused to guarantee a happy ending.
Bold move.
They let the villain win
Left audiences reeling.
and created an unprecedented level of anticipation for Endgame.
Yeah, you had to know what happened next.
It was risky,
It was.
but it paid off, amplifying the emotional impact of both films.
Absolutely, by allowing Thanos to win.
It created a sense of genuine peril,
A feeling that even the mightiest heroes can fall.
and that sacrifices are sometimes necessary for victory.
It's powerful stuff.
And speaking of heroes with compelling origins,
All right, give me with it.
we've got a trio of films that deserve recognition.
Okay, let's hear him.
Spider-Man from 2002.
The one that started it all.
X-Men, Days of Future Past,
Time travel shenanigans.
and X2, X-Men United.
Classic X-Men.
These films, even years later,
Still hold up.
they've had a lasting impact on the superhero genre,
They shaped how these stories are told.
influencing countless films that followed.
They proved that superhero narratives could be more than just, good versus evil.
Right.
Spider-Man from 2002 explored Peter Parker's coming of age,
That awkward teenager.
grappling with his powers and the
Sound
responsibility.
relatable.
X2 and Days of Future Past, though, they dove into the complexities of prejudice, discrimination,
Yeah, using the mutants as a metaphor.
to explore real-world issues,
They showed that these films could challenge societal norms.
offer a thought-provoking commentary,
They paved the way for a new era
where superhero films can be taken seriously,
as a legitimate art form.
capable of tackling mature themes, engaging audiences on multiple levels.
All right, now we enter the realm of R-rated heroes.
Ooh, things are about to get interesting.
Deadpool
The Merc with a Mouth,
and Logan.
a different kind of Wolverine story.
They broke new ground, offering a grittier, more mature take on the genre
Appealing to an audience that craves something different.
than the typical PG-13 fare.
Deadpool embraced that irreverent humor,
Broke the fourth wall.
poked fun at the conventions,
Logan offered a poignant, brutal farewell to Wolverine.
exploring themes of aging, mortality.
The legacy we leave behind.
They challenged the idea that superhero films had to be family-friendly
Right.
to be successful,
We proved there's a market for those darker, more complex stories.
that explore the depths of these characters.
And speaking of pushing boundaries,
Yeah, what else have we got?
can't forget about the successful reboots.
The ones that brought franchises back to life,
X-Men, First Class,
back to the beginning.
and The Amazing Spider-Man.
Another take on the web slinger.
They managed to breathe new life into their respective franchises, proving that revisiting those iconic characters and stories could be a recipe for success.
As long as it's done right.
Reboots are tricky.
Oh, for sure. They need to honor the legacy
While offering something fresh,
to attract those longtime fans and newcomers.
First Class took us back to the origins,
Professor X and Magneto,
exploring that complex relationship.
before they became enemies,
The Amazing Spider-Man focused on a younger Peter Parker
dealing with his powers.
and the mystery of his parents.
These reboots show they could be more than just cash grabs.
Right, they offered a new perspective,
Explored different aspects of the stories,
introduced them to a whole new generation.
finding that balance between nostalgia and innovation,
Exactly.
respecting the past while forging a new path.
Next, we have two films that showcase the power of reinvention.
Let's hear it.
Thor
The God of Thunder,
and Thor Ragnarok.
the one that shook things up.
Well, the first Thor, it introduced us to Asgard and laid the foundation.
It was a good introduction.
Ragnarok embraced the humor,
Oh, yeah.
the action, and had this vibrant visual style
Completely different.
that really set it apart.
Thor felt, I don't know, a bit constrained with its Shakespearean tone and all that CGI.
Right.
Visually impressive, but it lacked that certain spark.
Yeah, that spark.
But Ragnarok reinvented Thor's world. The colors pop,
Oh, yeah.
more comedic, and those eccentric characters, they brought out the best in Chris Hemsworth.
One user, they praised Ragnarok as a perfect reboot.
I can see why.
Said it felt like it was ripped straight from a Jack Kirby comic book.
That energy, the humor, the cosmic weirdness,
All of it.
it was a bold move that revitalized the franchise.
And showcased Thor's versatility.
He's more than just a hammer-wielding god.
And finally, we arrive at Black Panther.
This one's special.
A film that transcended the genre, became a cultural phenomenon,
It resonated on a profound level.
addressing themes of representation
Identity
and the African diaspora.
in a way that we hadn't really seen before.
Black Panther wasn't just a superhero film
It was a celebration,
of Black excellence,
a powerful statement.
about representation
It sparked conversations about race, culture, identity.
on a global scale,
Its impact went far beyond the box office,
inspiring a generation.
showcasing the power of cinema.
One user, they shared their personal connection to the film, saying it made them a Marvel fan.
Wow.
They called it the best Marvel superhero film of all time.
Strong words.
It's a testament to the film's ability to connect on such a deep emotional level.
Offering that sense of empowerment, pride, representation.
That had been missing.
Black Panther was a watershed moment.
It was.
For superhero cinema, proving these films can be more than just entertainment.
Right.
They can be vehicles for social commentary
Cultural exploration.
and profound human stories.
So as you can see, this dive into the top-ranked Marvel films, it's revealed a diverse range of preferences.
A lot of different things resonate with fans.
But there's a common thread.
What's that?
A desire for compelling stories, relatable characters,
And a sense of spectacle.
that transports us to those extraordinary worlds.
And despite all their differences,
Yeah.
All these films tap into our love for heroes.
Our love for overcoming challenges.
And for believing that even in darkness,
Mm.
there's always hope.
We've explored the top tier, but there's more to uncover.
Oh.
I'm ready. Get ready to dive into some honorable mentions that deserve their time in the spotlight.
All right, let's do it.
And maybe even a few controversial picks.
Ooh, can't wait for those.
We've explored those top fan-favorite Marvel movies, but let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Dive into some honorable mentions.
All right, the ones that almost made the cut.
Yeah, films that maybe didn't crack the top 10, but they still hold a special place, you know?
In the hearts of many fans,
Exactly. These are the movies that spark those passionate discussions.
the ones that get people talking.
And showcase the breadth of the MCU.
It's like, what's interesting is they often represent these different facets of the superhero genre.
Mm.
You see films experimenting with tone, style, narrative
They're not all masterpieces, but they each bring something unique.
to the table
It's like exploring different flavors, right?
within the same genre.
Each with its own distinct taste and appeal.
Exactly.
So let's start with a pair of films that pushed the boundaries of what superhero movies could be.
All right, I'm intrigued.
Logan and Deadpool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are interesting choices.
These R-rated entries shook things up,
They did. They really did.
proving that mature themes, raw emotion,
Even some irreverent.
could find a place in the superhero world.
Logan, I mean, it was a revelation.
It was.
Gritty, poignant farewell to Wolverine.
This character who'd become an icon,
Decades of comics, films,
and it stripped away the gloss, the spectacle,
presented us with this world-weary hero,
confronting his own mortality.
the burden of his past.
Resonated with audiences who, grew up with Wolverine.
It did. It offered this mature, emotionally resonant exploration of loss, legacy.
The struggle to find redemption.
Powerful stuff.
One user described it as the best movie ever.
Wow. High praise.
They praised its ability to capture Wolverine's inner turmoil.
Yeah. The sacrifices he made,
It challenged those conventions of superhero cinema.
it did. Offered a more grounded, introspective take.
And then you have Deadpool,
Oh, Deadpool.
embraced its absurdity,
Complete.
broke the fourth wall, that meta humor,
Self-aware.
poking fun at the whole superhero genre.
It was a breath of fresh air, refreshing change of pace.
One fan simply said, Deadpool is like a comedy god.
He's got a point.
It delivered those laughs.
But it's still a compelling story.
And memorable characters.
Deadpool proved that superhero movies could be funny, self-aware.
Or still have that emotional punch.
It expanded the possibilities of the genre.
Showed there's room for different tones, styles.
All right, let's shift gears again.
Okay.
Talk about a couple of reboots that revitalized their franchises.
Reboots, always a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. Revisiting those iconic character
Yeah.
stories
But these films found a way to honor the originals while offering something new and exciting.
for both longtime fans and newcomers.
X-Men. First Class.
Ah, yes, back to the beginning.
And The Amazing Spider-Man.
Another take on the web slinger.
First Class took us back to the origins of the X-Men,
Professor X and Magneto.
before they became enemies, exploring that complex relationship.
Yeah, it captured that spirit of the comics.
But with the stylish retro vibe.
That felt both familiar and new.
One user, they praised First Class as their favorite X-Men film.
Wow, really?
Said it captured the essence of the characters, their dynamic.
While giving a fresh perspective on their shared history.
It felt both nostalgic and innovative.
Appealing to different generations of fans.
And The Amazing Spider-Man, a new take on Peter Parker's story.
This time focusing on Gwen Stacy.
And the mystery of his parents.
It had that youthful energy,
Awkward charm.
but also a darker, more grounded take on the mythos.
One fan simply said, I love this movie and its sequel.
Speaks volumes.
It connected with the audience, left them wanting more.
It respected the legacy, but offered a fresh perspective.
A new direction.
These reboots, they demonstrated there's still life in these franchises.
As long as filmmakers are willing to take risks,
Explore new ideas.
harbor a unique vision.
That honors the source material while appealing to a modern audience.
Now let's talk about a character who's undergone quite the transformation.
And who are we talking about?
Thor.
Ah, yes, the god of thunder.
We have both Thor and Thor Ragnarok on our list,
Representing two very different approaches.
highlighting his evolution and Marvel Studios' willingness to take those creative risks.
They weren't afraid to shake things up.
The first, Thor, it introduced us to Asgard, the Shakespearean drama.
It had a very specific tone.
A bit constrained, I think, by the CGI landscapes.
And that more serious tone.
It was visually impressive, but it lacked that spark.
That's certain something.
One user commented that Thor doesn't get enough love,
It's often overlooked.
praising the visuals, the performances.
Even if the story maybe didn't resonate as strongly.
A reminder that even the films that aren't considered classics can still have those moments of brilliance.
They contribute to the overall tapestry of the MCU.
And then Ragnarok flipped the script.
Completely.
Vibrant color palette, more comedic tone, those eccentric characters.
It just brought out the best in Chris Hemsworth.
One user called it a perfect reboot.
I can see why.
Felt like it was ripped from the pages of a Jack Kirby comic book
Captured that energy, the humor, the cosmic weirdness.
that had been missing.
Ragnarok was a testament to the power of reinvention.
It was.
Even established characters can be reimagined
In exciting, unexpected ways.
without losing their core.
It reminded us that superhero movies can be fun, vibrant, full of surprises.
Absolutely.
And speaking of films that broke new ground, became cultural touchstones,
All right, which one?
we have to talk about Black Panther.
Oh, absolutely, a game changer.
Transcended the genre, resonated with audiences.
On a profound level.
Sparked those conversations about representation, identity.
The African diaspora.
Black Panther. It wasn't just a superhero film.
It was a cultural phenomenon
That sparked a global conversation.
about race, identity, representation in media.
One user shared their personal connection,
Yeah?
said it made them a Marvel fan, called it the best Marvel film of all time.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's a testament to its ability to connect on an emotional level.
Offering that sense of empowerment, pride, representation.
That had been sorely lacking.
Black Panther was a watershed moment for superhero cinema
It showed they could be vehicles for social commentary, cultural exploration.
and profound human stories.
We've covered some of the most prominent honorable mentions, but there are a few more
Oh, there are.
that deserve a shout out.
Right, let's hear them.
Ant-Man,
Okay, yeah.
heist movie tropes, the shrinking shenanigans,
A fun twist.
brought humor, lightheartedness to the MCU.
One user loved the pacing, the humor, said it balanced action, comedy, heart.
Didn't take itself too seriously.
A fun escape.
Then there's Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse.
Ah, yes, visually stunning.
Pushed the boundaries of animation
Explored the Spider-Man mythos through the lens of the multiverse.
in a way we'd never seen before.
It was groundbreaking, not just for the animation,
Right.
but its exploration of identity, legacy, the power of believing in yourself.
Introduced a new generation to the Spider-Man mythos.
Showed that anyone can wear the mask.
One fan even claimed it was the best Spider-Man film.
Wow, high praise.
Captured the essence of the character, offered a fresh perspective.
A unique visual style.
Into the Spider-Verse. It was a testament to the creativity, the innovation within the genre,
It really was.
showing there are still new stories to tell.
New ways to bring these characters to life.
And we can't forget Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2.
Ah, yes, the sequel.
Deepened those emotional connections.
From the first film,
exploring themes of family, loss, redemption.
it resonated deeply.
One user described it as an emotional roller coaster.
I can relate to that.
They laughed, they cried, they reminisced, loved, got pumped up.
All in one movie.
Hilarious and heartfelt, action-packed, and emotionally resonant.
A powerful combination.
So even these honorable mentions offer a wide range of experiences,
They do.
showcasing the diversity and depth of the MCU.
There's truly something for everyone.
Whether you're looking for epic battles, heartwarming character arcs, thought-provoking
They're
themes,
just pure escapist fun.
it's a testament to the creative talent involved.
The writers, directors, actors, visual effects artists,
Everyone who contributes to bringing these stories to life.
the MCU is a collaborative effort.
And it's that passion, dedication of everyone involved that's made it such a global phenomenon.
A phenomenon indeed.
We've explored the fan favorites, the honorable mentions,
What's next?
but there's one last category of films we need to address.
Okay, I'm listening.
The more divisive entries.
The ones that spark debate.
Yeah, left some viewers scratching their heads.
These are the films that, for various reasons, might not have resonated as strongly.
But they offer valuable insights into the challenges of adapting these iconic characters' stories.
They do, and what's interesting is that they often represent creative risks.
Oh, yeah.
Attempts to push the boundaries of the genre.
Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
But even the so-called missteps can teach us something,
About audience expectations.
and how those expectations are changing,
It's like a science experiment, right?
where even unexpected results can lead to discoveries.
So let's buckle up and dive into some of these more controversial picks.
I'm ready, let's do it.
All right, we've journeyed through those beloved classics.
Yeah.
Explored some fan favorites that might have flown under the radar.
Right?
Now we're entering a fascinating territory. The Marvel movies that sparked some serious debate.
Oh, the ones that got people talking?
Yeah, these are the films that might have left some fans scratching their heads.
Maybe even playfully tossing popcorn at the screen.
Maybe what's intriguing about these more divisive entries is that they often represent those bold choices by the filmmakers.
Right? Like attempts to subvert expectations
Right.
or explore uncharted territory.
Within the genre.
Not every experiment is going to be a home run,
Yeah.
but even those so-called missteps
Yeah.
can reveal a lot about what audiences expect
Yeah.
and how those expectations are changing.
It's like a science experiment, right?
Exactly.
Even the unexpected results can lead to valuable discoveries.
You learn something either way.
So let's start with Iron Man 3.
Oh, Iron Man 3.
This one seemed to split fans right down the middle.
Yeah, it did.
Strong opinions about the Mandarin, the overall
The
tone.
Mandarin, yeah. Iron Man 3 definitely took some liberties,
It did.
especially with that character.
Yeah.
Fans who were expecting that faithful adaptation, from the comic book
Right.
might have been a little disappointed.
Yeah, the twist.
But it sparked a discussion, didn't it?
It did.
About the nature of villainy.
Right.
Like, does the classic evil mastermind trope still work?
In a more nuanced world.
Right.
You bring up a good point. One user, they expressed their disappointment with that Mandarin twist.
Yeah.
They felt like the film's buildup led to a letdown.
Especially for those who love the character from the comics.
Exactly.
I get it. But Iron Man 3 also made us think
It did.
about how fear and manipulation can be just as powerful.
As brute force.
Sometimes the most dangerous villains are the ones in the shadows,
Pulling the strings.
exploiting those anxieties,
It added that layer of complexity.
even if it wasn't what everyone wanted.
Now, another film that generated some mixed reactions was Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Oh, Age of Ultron,
It
yeah.
had its fans,
It did.
but some felt it didn't quite reach the heights of the first Avengers movie.
It's tough to follow up a phenomenon.
It is.
And it had that unenviable task, following up one of the most successful superhero films ever.
And expectations were sky high.
They were.
Some viewers maybe felt the sequel couldn't quite recapture that same magic.
It was still a spectacle,
Oh yeah, action-packed.
but maybe not the same magic.
It also tried to juggle a lot narratively.
It did. New characters, future storylines, themes of AI.
The consequences of technology.
It was a lot to pack in.
It's interesting, though, because another user, they actually preferred Age of Ultron.
Really?
They argued it went deeper into the emotions, the relationships,
So they found it more layered.
more thought-provoking.
And that's what's so great about these discussions. It highlights how different viewers prioritize different things.
Exactly.
Some people want that nonstop action, the humor,
Others, they're drawn to those quieter moments.
the character development.
Age of Ultron, despite maybe its flaws,
Yeah.
it definitely tried to explore some weighty themes
It sparked debates.
about humanity,
Sorry.
the role of technology.
You gave us a lot to think about.
Now we have to address Thor, the Dark World.
Oh, the Dark World.
This one often finds itself at the bottom.
Of a lot of Marvel rankings.
It seems to have struggled to find its footing.
In terms of tone,
Hmm?
storytelling.
Yeah, it had to follow up a successful first film
It did.
while also introducing a new villain,
Malekith.
Malekith, who, let's be honest,
Yeah.
didn't quite capture the imagination
Not like Loki.
like Loki did.
It felt a little stuck between that Shakespearean grandeur of the first Thor
Right.
and the more comedic, vibrant tone of Ragnarok.
And you're right, that villain is crucial.
Absolutely.
One user, despite their overall feelings about the Dark World,
Yeah.
they commented that the Thor series has some of the best casting
Oh, I could agree with that.
in the MCU.
Yeah. Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Anthony Hopkins.
They bring a presence,
They elevate the material even when it's not the strongest.
even in films that aren't top tier.
There's still things to appreciate.
Performances that shine.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about a film that often gets overlooked.
Okay.
The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, The Incredible Hulk.
This one predates the whole interconnected, serialized approach.
It was early days for the MCU.
Early days. And it features a different actor
Edward Norton.
as Bruce Banner.
Right, right.
It was still finding its footing, establishing its own tone.
A solid action film.
But it lacked that world building, those intricate connections that would come later.
It was before the universe was fully formed.
It's fascinating how casting can really impact our perception of a character.
It can?
One user, they actually preferred Edward Norton's portrayal.
Interesting.
They praised his performance, felt he embodied that inner turmoil more effectively.
Did Mark Ruffalo?
Than Mark Ruffalo, yeah.
And that's a great example of how individual preferences shape our experience.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong answer.
No.
It's subjective.
Each actor brought something unique to the role.
They did.
It's up to the viewer to decide what resonates with them.
Exactly.
And finally, we have Captain America, the first Avenger,
Ah, the one that started it all for Cap.
which, while generally well-regarded,
It is.
sometimes gets overshadowed by its sequels.
Winter Soldiers, Civil War.
It had to introduce Steve Rogers' origin story, set the stage for his journey.
It had a big task,
It did.
but it captured Cap's essence.
It did.
That unwavering idealism, sense of duty, willingness to fight,
Even when all hope is lost.
and that period setting, World War II.
Added a layer of nostalgia.
Historical significance.
One user praised its faithfulness to the source material.
Yeah, it stayed true to the comics.
They appreciated that it didn't try to modernize the character too much.
Or add unnecessary elements.
It's interesting how some fans really prioritize that fidelity,
They want to see the comics brought to life.
while others are more open to those creative interpretations.
There's no right way to adapt.
No, and what resonates with one viewer might not work for another.
It's the beauty of fandom.
A range of perspectives.
Exactly.
So there you have it, a deep dive into the world of Marvel movies.
We covered a lot of ground.
From the undisputed champions to the honorable mentions, and even the films that, sparked some heated discussions.
It's been quite a journey.
Exploring those elements that make these films tick, the reasons they resonate, the ways they reflect our culture.
And even the films that some might not consider perfect, they still get people talking.
They do.
Passionate responses.
It speaks to the power of these characters.
the creativity of the filmmakers.
And how superhero stories connect with us on a deeper level.
It's more than just entertainment.
And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
isn't that what it's all about?
Sharing our love for these stories.
Yeah.
Debating our favorite moments.
Celebrating the impact these films have had on our lives.
That's what makes it fun.
So next time you watch a Marvel movie, whether it's a beloved classic,
Or one that's a little more divisive.
take a moment to consider what resonates with you.
What sparks your imagination?
What makes you think?
What keeps you coming back?
Great questions to ponder.
They are.
And hey, why not head over to the top 10s?
Check out those rankings.
Explore the full list, maybe even create your own.
Keep the conversation going.
Until next time, keep exploring those multiverses.
Debating those plot twists.
Celebrating the heroes that inspire us.
Sounds like a plan.
And remember, true believers, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's right.
To have fun, embrace the debate.
And keep that Marvel spirit alive.
Absolutely.